वेलकम टू दिस एपिसोड ऑफ द हरप्रीत सिंह शो। आज ਦੇ ਹੈਲਥ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਾਈਲ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟੀਸ਼ਨਰ ਨੇ। ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਚਲੇਗੀ ਕਿ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਹਵਾ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਫੂਡ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਫੂਡ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਹਿੰਗਾ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਨॉन ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਫੂਡ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਕਨਵੈਨਸ਼ਨਲ ਖਾਣਾ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਣੇ ਤੇ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਫੂਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਅੰਤਰ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਵਾਕਈ 'ਚ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਫੂਡ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਲਈ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਸਾਬਤ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਨਾਲ। Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start off with like organic food is the talk of the town these days. Everybody is virtually running to it. But on the other hand, it's quite expensive as compared to the normal conventional food what we have been taking. And also when we talk about Antonina, that the environment is the polluted, water is polluted, there are so many chemicals in it. Now for an organic food field and a non-organic food field, water is the same, environment is the same, but still, we are talking about organic food. Is actually organic food good for us, or it's another fad or another trend which is visible in the market today? What is your experience for it?
Very good question. I get that asked a lot. As a matter of fact, with all of my clients, I don't even wait for the question. I educate them on it. So it's the second most important discussion that I have with my clients is quality of their food.
Right.
So when we talk about quality of the food, we're talking about where does the food come from, how it's been grown, how it's been used, what is actually on your table, what do you buy, and the quality is really important. So generally, with all of my findings, all of my research, organic food is a much higher quality, and that's been proven through and through. So there is an industry that will tell us and is trying to make us believe that it's just a fad, that it's absolutely not important, then it's the same thing, we live in the same environment, it's just like it's hard to stay away from chemicals.
Right.
The conventionally grown food is sprayed beyond what you will get in just a regular environment contamination. So, and usually the conventional farmer will spray the soil and fertilize the soil with chemicals before the seeds are planted.
Right.
And then when it's grown, a lot of applications take place, and a lot of chemicals that take place. So with organic food, it's not a fad, because this is what my grandparents and your grandparents used to eat.
Right.
This is a real food that's evolved in nature. This is a natural food. And the label organic has become a more recent trend, because we've gone so far from nature and so far from growing naturally organic food naturally, we had to find a standard, so a standard that people can still trust. And a lot of people are doubting that the standards are good enough, and a lot of people are trying to diminish and say that, and make those standards less appealing and things like that. So there's a war waged against organic food. And we have to understand that the chemical companies would prefer that we continue using a lot of chemicals and continue buying food that is chemically processed. So there's lots of money behind that. So in my opinion and in my practice, I always educate people on the importance of organic food. First reason is that you have much lesser contamination, and there's been lots of studies done with children who are consuming conventional food versus children who are consuming organic food, checking their blood for all of this neurotoxins, all of those chemicals that can be found and traced in their blood, putting them on organic food and how you can get rid of all of that in their blood, putting them back on organic on conventional food. And you can do a lot of studies testing that. There's been families that are tested, there's been many documentaries that have been made, there's been a lot of tests performed on individuals and in public, where we know that those chemicals that make its way to our food, if we're consuming it absolutely natural, that the body will be severely contaminated with all of those petrochemicals. And so first, eating organic food is eating a much lesser degree or much lesser amount of chemicals. The second is that food is usually a lot more nutrient dense.
Right.
Because organic agriculture, if proper standards are applied, and Canadian standards for organic agriculture are really high, American USDA standards for organic agriculture are really high, I recommend that people they don't have to trust me and believe me, they can go to the respective sites, government websites, regulatory websites who provide all of the certification, and look at the standards that have been applied. For anybody to receive that label, for anybody to be able to put that on the product, they have to go through vigorous testing. They have to prove that their soil they have to show the standards, how they grow the food, what they use on the food, how this, all of the components of that, and have to receive that, and it's expensive. So they wouldn't want to lose that certification.
Right.
So it is unfortunate that our food that has less expensive chemicals on it is more expensive than the food that has all of those expensive chemicals on it.
Right.
Because unfortunately, the authorities or people who are supposed to be regulating it are not, are subsidizing the conventional agriculture versus the organic agriculture.
Right.
So in organic food, when you grow organic food, because the soil is cleaner, to get a certified organic farmland, you have to, for 3 years, prove that nothing has been used. For 3 years, that soil should be cleaned, and no pesticides, herbicides, fungicides should be applied. Then you have to use high quality organic seeds.
Right.
Then you're not allowed to use petrochemicals that are allowed in conventional agriculture. And then there's crop rotations that are utilized, a lot of different organic principles that are utilized. What that does for the end result is that your food is growing in a clean soil that is nutrient dense.
Right.
And it's nutrient dense because it has its natural flora and fauna in there. There are these little worms and bugs that are grinding the minerals, that are digesting things. There is proper fertilization that's happening naturally, and your plants are assimilating and absorbing all of those nutrients into its structure. Right. So the plants, when we actually test conventional plants and organic plants, conventional have much less magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, zinc, manganese, than organic has a much higher rate.
Okay.
So you might be paying 20-30% more for organic food, but you're getting sometimes hundreds of percents of more of those minerals than you would in conventional, minus the toxins that your body has to use its own reserves of minerals to process. So to me, I'd rather pay now and invest in my food than invest in drugs later. And I know for a fact that clean food is going to gift me with better health than not. So.
Wow, that's great. We'll go for a short break. We'll come back and discuss a little bit more about the enforcement aspect, especially because generally we raise fingers against the enforcement, that how the enforcement is that how can a common person come to know that this is the organic being claimed as organic is actually organic or not. So we'll learn from this from you after this short break. एंटोनिना ਦਾ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਫੂਡ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਯਕੀਨਨ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਬੈਟਰ ਹੈਗਾ ਐਜ਼ ਕੰਪੇਅਰ ਟੂ ਦਾ ਕਨਵੈਨਸ਼ਨਲ ਫੂਡ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਏ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰਾਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਏ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਖਾਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਫੀਲਡ ਤੋਂ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਉੱਥੋਂ ਹੀ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਘੱਟ ਖਾਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ। ਪਰ ਇਹ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਖਾਦ ਦੀ ਇੰਨੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੈਮੀਕਲਸ ਨਾਲ ਭਰੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਸਬਜ਼ੀਆਂ, ਕੈਮੀਕਲਸ ਨਾਲ ਭਰੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਖਾਣੇ। जबकि दूसरे पासे जो ऑर्गैनिक फूड का ग्रो करने का भी तरीका है वो एक वखरा है। इस उत्ते इन्फोर्समेंट की जाती है, इन्हों का कहना है कि नज़र रखी जाती है तो पहला तो गल घट तो घट जोड़े इतने इंसैक्टीसाइड्स, पेस्टिसाइड्स, फंगीसाइड्स वो वरते जाते हैं ताकि जी ज़मीन है वो कुदरती तौर के उत्ते जी हैगी वो प्रोड्यूस करे। लेकिन एक छोटी जी ब्रेक जी वापस आके देखते हैं कि की वाकई च यही चीज़ें इन्फोर्स हो रही ने या ये ज़्यादातर ज़्यादा टॉक ही है।
They have always been there for me. From getting my dream car to celebrating life's special moments. Always bringing us joy. And now my loved ones can make them a part of their life story. Family is what you make, and they are a part of mine. Basant Motors.
स्वागत करते हैं जी एक बार फिर आप सब का अज के इस प्रोग्राम में। ब्रेक तो पहला जिस तरह दस रहे सी एंटोनीना के जोड़े असी ऑर्गैनिक फूड खाने उन्होंने मिनरल्स ज़्यादा ने, पोटैशियम, मैगनीशियम, होर सारी चीज़ां जड़ियां ने वो ज़्यादा ने एज़ कंपेयर टू द कन्वेंशनल फूड जो असी खाने। ये किवें इन्फोर्समेंट होंदी है कि वाकई च होंदी है नहीं होंदी, आओ इस बारे जानकारी लेने एंटोनीना तो। सो बिफोर द ब्रेक लाइक यू मैंशन दैट ऑर्गैनिक फूड हैज़ मच मोर better as compared to the conventional food what we eat. But the question that arises, Antonina, is how is it enforced? Now, a person who is paying 20 to 30% more wants to be sure that what he is paying for actually it is for that same thing what he is paying for. In the market, the way things happen, people have lost trust. People don't have much faith. Are these regulatory bodies virtually enforcing what they say, or many times it can pass the buck and anybody, if I'm a farmer, I can just tie it up and just put a mark on it that it's organic?
Right. So as I've mentioned, it's really, really important that we do have a good regulation that's
Right.
where people can take advantage and just choose to charge us much higher prices, justifying that without good justification. So I definitely recommend to make sure that the food that you're buying has been indeed grown by farmers that either care, they might not have the money to certify it. For example, if you'll go to organic farmers markets or farmers markets that have organic producers, they have organic farmers. Some of them, and I will go around the farmers market and I will go to different stalls and I will speak to farmers. Sometimes they don't have the labeling because they can't afford it.
Right.
But if you talk to them about their principles of growing food, about their belief system, about how they respect their own health, the health of their soil, the health of the animals, how they fertilize their soil, how do they go by, what do they do? Many of them actually use organic principles but just don't have the money to certify it. So you can go to organic farms, to farmers markets and get organic food without having to pay. You may be paying a little bit less. You can buy organic in bulk. There's definitely a lot of issues with organic food from China, for example.
Right.
Many people don't trust it. Is there good regulatory environment there? Is it as good as here? People don't, so maybe that's why I'm saying buy organic local food because the regulatory bodies are a lot, the regulations enforced a lot more stringently, and that maybe the culture is different, maybe all of these different components play a really important role. Getting local food is important because you're getting the freshest food possible, most nutrient dense, that's been sun ripened, not ripened using gas or chemicals or ripened en route. So you want to have fresh organic food, so buying local is most important. You'll get a lot more value for what you're paying, but you're also supporting local economies. And I know this is very important to you or a lot of political figures in our environment today. So you want to involve. We vote with our dollar.
Oh yeah.
Because as a society, if I choose every time I go out there, I don't vote only every 4 years.
Yeah.
I vote every single day. What kind of industries, businesses, people am I investing in? And so when I go to the store and I buy from companies that care about my health, care about the environment, care about a lot of a wider range of things, I am giving them more power on the global scale, on the national scale. When I am not caring and I buy from multinational corporations that want to use the cheapest ingredients possible, they all care about the profit only, I'm voting for those corporations, I'm giving more of my dollars. So we make decisions every day. Every time we go to the store, we're deciding for ourselves, for our well-being, and then it comes around because our health is eventually what goes around comes around. If you don't care about the environment, about the food, about the animals, about your children, it's going to come back. You're going to start suffering with a lot of different conditions, and we can get educated. We've been trusting into a lot of that for a long time. We've been promised a lot of things, and we know that hasn't been delivered on. And I know a lot of people are questioning organic agriculture, questioning organic authorities. Yes, it's absolutely fair that you do, and it's important that we keep them to a standard. But it's important that we also help them to get better and continue keeping the standards, and that we actually become a lot more, as vocal about the food and about the industry that is spraying our food. That, I'm sorry, where the farmer has to wear a suit, a full body white suit, to go to spray chemicals on the food. He's not allowed to touch it because of how toxic that is. But it's okay for you to put that strawberry in your mouth. And then that bodysuit has to be washed 3 times before that farmer can actually hug his kids. So how chemically toxic is that? And we are okay with putting it in our food. We're okay to putting it in our bodies, and then we don't judge them. And yes, we go with kind of and we judge, and we become really so difficult when it comes to organic agriculture. There are a lot of people that take advantage of that, of the industry. And yes, there are companies who want to label things organic just to sell things at the higher price. But it doesn't mean that the whole industry has that intention. So I think it's up to us to make sure that it keeps the standard, that there's good advocacy groups, there are consumer advocacy groups that keep that to a standard without dismissing it as a whole. We want a food as it is intended by nature, God, universe, you name it.
Thank you very much. It's really, you're very passionate about this, and it is evident from your talk. And definitely, of course, if we go back to our roots, we'll be much, much successful as far as our health is concerned. Thank you for your perspective.
My pleasure.
जो गलबात हुई जी कि ऑर्गेनिक फूड के बारे जो आम तौर पर कहा जाता है कि फैट है, ਇਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਲੇਕਿन ਹਕੀਕਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ, ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਦੇਖੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਫੂਡ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਸ 'ਤੇ ਘੱਟ ਸਪਰੇਜ਼ ਵਰਤੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ। ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਮਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਜ਼ੰਪਸ਼ਨ ਵਧਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਖਾਦਾਂ, ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਇਨਸੈਕਟੀਸਾਈਡਸ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇਹ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਮਹਿੰਗੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਨੇ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਫੂਡ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜੋ ਪੈਸੇ ਖਰਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ 'ਤੇ, ਉੱਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ। तो ये मूवमेंट जी हैगी है, हाँ इन्होंने कहा कि जिस तरह चाइना वर्गे मुल्कों तो आते उत्ते शक किया जा सकता है, लेकिन जो लोकल फार्मर्स ने उन्होंने तुसी सपोर्ट करो, जाके उन्होंने गलबात करो, पुछो कि किवें वो खेती कर रहे हैं ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਲੇਬਲਿੰਗ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਾਇਆ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ। ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਨਾਲ ਲੋਕਲ ਇਕਨੋਮੀ ਗਰੋ ਹੋਏਗੀ, ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਖਾਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਵਾਲੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਬਣੇਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਨੂੰ ਅਸਰ ਪਏਗਾ।